So today we're going to look into Qwik. I think I talked about Qwik for like half a year or whenever I first heard about it from Ryan Corniata. Yeah, the funny story is that I heard about it few months before I actually understood how that's spelled and before I could find the web page. But um, I think I'm going to show the previous attempt. So I have a website that's written in create React app and stuff. So it's not that um, modern, I guess, of a technology. So I started looking into upgrading it to maybe Vite, maybe Next.js, and I had few experiments that I tried. And one of the last ones was Astro. The thing that kind of broke it for me was the lack of HMR. And I have I think 4 streams or so when I was doing all of that stuff. So I think the link to the playlist in the description. But I did IELTS off stream. I just it's basically like Astro, but using a view. I mean, it's more like Fresh, I guess, in that sense. So Fresh is just doing pre-act, but IELTS, I mean, I should probably just open it. Yeah. So IELTS is kind of in between Astro and Fresh. So Fresh is just Preact, and IELTS is Vue on the server side, but it can do other frameworks on the front end. It doesn't do React, of course, because why would it? I think I left a issue for them. Yeah, I don't know. They probably closed it. Maybe it was on Twitter, but I think, yeah, it's probably was on Twitter then. Yeah, I asked them, do you plan to support React? And they're like, no, why would we? So Astra is much nicer framework in that sense. They're ready to work with everyone. And one of the frameworks that they are kind of have friendly relationship is Qwik. So that's basically the next step in this in this evolution. So I'm not sure how I'm going to do this, but we will figure it out. It's actually it's just adding stuff. We have some changes to app to kind of just to include less stuff so it's more compatible. But and I guess changes to TS config. But yeah, we will try to do this. I guess should I describe what's the history behind SPA? So because it's Create React App, it's using SPA. So it has React Router, it has all of the expectations of being SPA. And so whatever the alternative that I'm looking for, it has to have a way to have basically SPA inside of it. So for example, I want to have landing page, maybe as a separate endpoint. So right now, if you click on the login into dashboard, it's going to do full page navigation anyway. So we're not optimizing on that case. So maybe login page and maybe some other pages could be as a separate page, but most of the app is going to be just like app, and so that's why it's like important for me to make it an SPA, to build the SPA like inside of it, so it has to support that. So and I'm not going to look into QwikCity, maybe like for some examples of the components, all that stuff, but we're not doing that, I think. We're probably not starting with that, at least. Maybe if nothing works, maybe that's when we can try. So I think examples is something that we need, and I'm yeah, I'm not looking at that kind of example. I'm looking at the like full page with all of the configuration and stuff. So apps base to do test. So base app vite. Yeah, and I think I also tried vite, but because Astro and IELTS use vite, I don't think it's going to be like a big difference. So during development, it's not server rendering, server-side rendering, client, production build, client modules. Okay. I mean, what's the entry point? Run dev SSR or dev client. Okay. I'm not sure how that important, but okay, let's see what kind of like other examples they have. Blank. Okay, that's pretty blank. Features. Interesting. Wouldn't have thought that it works this way. Entry. SSR entry. Okay, so what about client entry then? Interesting. Okay, library. Library is also interesting. We do have root and index. I mean, why do we need root here? We're exporting local encounter. Maybe that's for just for testing. So we can like run test build of it. Build. No, there's no test. Yeah, it would seem that you don't need this party done. Okay, we don't need party done right away, but it would be it would be cool to see how it looks. Okay, so this is QwikCity. Do we need QwikCity? That's probably the problem that I have. Qwik features. Okay, so this one doesn't have like entry stuff. Maybe because QwikCity does that. Okay, so one other thing that we want to look into is Qwikify. Qwikify. Yeah, so the package is called qwik-react, and we want to understand what is using that package. Do we have examples with Qwik-react? Starters, features. Is it in main? Yes, it is. Okay. React. Interesting. Interesting. Okay, so maybe that's the one that we want to try. Okay. So where's quick? Okay. I'm not sure it works exactly how I expect it to work. So maybe need to read some docs. No hydration and fun. Okay, so you can go to TTP, create a folder, and so what happened? And run this npm init stuff. Project name is fine. QwikCity blank library, component library. Interesting. So we want to try blank, I think, and those are the features. Yeah, I wonder what prettier feature means, but let's not try that. Okay, so we have this. We are fans of the bun here. And now we do a start. Okay, so default. Oh, I remember actually this. I don't know when, but like I played with all of this and it didn't work. Like even this simple example didn't work. So uh, I guess that's not my first time trying Qwik, but anyway. Uh, okay, open DevTools and notice no JavaScript was downloaded. I mean, that's cool. Try interacting with the page. They're saying us to try something. We should probably do that. Okay, so click on it and blur. Nothing changed yet. Okay, so now we downloaded a component, which probably includes this, right? So that's a component. That's the Qwik itself. That's the mother component. Oh, I guess that's the okay. Logo. Right. Did it run everything out of this? So I think Mishka said that you can do like coverage, show coverage. Okay, so now okay. So what do we have here? So Qwik core 5% unused. Okay. Vite is fine. We don't care about that. 1% unused and 0% unused. Yeah. So that's the claim. Uh, we used everything that was needed for the from the app. I guess we didn't use the logo for some reason. We didn't use this empty line. Is that what you're saying? Yeah, but it worked here. That's fine. So okay, so we didn't use CSS, which is fun. Okay, and so this is app component. So we have some unused code here. Probably like because it has conditions, like not every condition have been met. So if we played it, okay. What haven't we used in Qwik? Bind, wait around. Yeah, I guess the question is like, do you create multiple bundles from core, especially if it's like 1 MB? Is it 1 MB? I guess it's not minified. Yeah, some promises, some like delays. Yeah, just like our app just didn't get to that. So anyway, uh, let's play with this thing a bit more. So we can create this. We can use, so we use blank, I guess. We can use QwikCity. Right. So I want to deploy it to a static website. So I don't know if they have like option for that. So yeah, let's do this. And let's just look what is going on. Not a key repo. Oh, that's no in my book. So what's the difference between blank and QwikCity? Pretty much the same. I guess if you don't select prettier, it just doesn't create prettier file. And it doesn't seem like a big problem. Okay, and now this one has components and routes. And all the entry stuff is the same. So it's exactly the same. I guess maybe like the root file is different. And where's the other one? Yeah, so this one is using framework. This one is just goes straight into HTML. But okay, and now we need to go through router. The router does file-based routing. So basically our index HTML is kind of like here now. Okay. Now I'm trying to figure out what they need to do to. I don't have Twitch streaming, so I can't do markers. Okay, so I think we will try QwikCity, and here is why. It's closer to what we had with Astro. So it will have, I need to figure out how to do all the routing and how to like routing in the Astro would play this routing in React router. So I think this is like the more important stuff to figure out. But the problem is that um, I don't know how to deploy that. So, and in a sense, I don't know how to deploy either of them. So I'm not going to win anything by not using QwikCity because it's like QwikCity, in my mind, QwikCity requires server, but like then again, just Qwik itself probably requires server. So let's just go and like see if they have anything about SSG. Okay. So Okay, so what's the answers? Okay, so they're telling me that SSG is cool, which okay. Okay, so they're using QwikCity. Okay, so static site generation build. SSG config. For JavaScript, it's quite common to be over. Also generate. Okay. Okay, and dynamic browse on static generate. Interesting. Right. So that's cool. So that's where we're going to start. Um, do you need to configure all of that now, or is it fine to start just whatever the template? Okay. So we're starting with QwikCity. Um, let's figure out what we actually need. So the first step in Astro was just to install Astro. So we will try to do the same. So go to storefront and see package.json in QwikCity. So, well, this is a lot. So we need Qwik. Yeah, nice version number, by the way. We need QwikCity. Types, ESLint, Express, not fetch. Okay, we'll probably need some of that, but not all of that. So I guess types. Why do we need Express? Does this one need Express? Not really. No, not fetch. Does it? Okay, I guess that's kind of like implied pure dependency or something. Maybe it's not implied. Okay, so what's that? Oh, that's for the repeat. Oh, they're probably using some kind of like um, shorthands for the components instead of reporting stuff. Okay. Uh, okay, so we'll start with this. We will start with this. Yeah. By the way, I'm streaming a bit earlier today, so I see that some people are like jumping in on stream. So it's cool that this time works best. I mean, I don't know if it's the best, but better. Uh, okay. So we did that. Let's probably commit it. I'm not yet sure like where I'm going with this. So so we need vite and we need this plugin because we got all the other plugins already. Just need this. yeah, in the end, and like especially depending on like how much stuff we actually get done, I have like the a rant, I guess, like how I actually look at Qwik and like what I think the I I think I'm a bit like more skeptical than others, and I don't know. I don't want to like push it too much. uh, I don't want to be like too skeptical. Okay, so we got this, we got this. So now I think what we're going to do is to create this with config, and yeah, the plan is to have it into something like this. I just copy it. Yes. Uh, okay. Okay. Plugin is complaining a bit. I guess like read should be lower. Yeah, something like that. Uh, yeah, it's not, I guess it's not that important. But so we got this. Now we need a package JSON. We need basically like the command that is like dev command. So the dev command is dev SSR or just vite. What would Astra do? Was Astra dev? Here's just vite. Do I actually care? I mean, I care a bit, but okay. So we're going for package JSON file, and we will just add dev to heat because that seems like the simplest one to try. And yep, everything is broke. Okay, no such. Yeah, so I think my main gripe with like Vite, uh, Astro, and all of the other ones that are built on Vite is that sometimes Vite just crashes and it's not great experience. So it's like I don't really have like all of my scripts set up in a way that it expect crashes. So it's like, okay, it crashed, and like, what do I do now? Now I need to understand what crashed and like try to restart just that part. And I'm not happy with that. So I mean, we know what happened. I wish it would just like report the error and wait for this folder to be created or something like that. It's a bit more, I don't know, like I need a bit more care about developers. So it's looking for route folder inside of SRC. So let's give it that. Okay, so now root tsx is not found. We kind of expected that, but so it's just in SRC. Okay. Uh, that's good. That's the error I was I was hoping for. Okay. Uh, or four. That's great. So let's look at the road. Uh, It's looking for global CSS. Yeah, we don't have that file, so we don't have head component as well. So we have the rest of it. So if I put, I don't know, like 1, 2, 3 here, did it use our root, or what's the purpose of the root? I don't know. I guess we need to create a so routes index tsx. That's what we are going for. Okay, so it's not using layouts implicitly. Interesting. Yeah, I like I like that it's like bricks. Okay, so it's looking for entry dev now. I wonder why it wasn't looking for it before. It's a bit strange approach, but okay, let's drop that. Okay. We're getting somewhere. So HMR is working, and let's go back to root. HMR is working in root and entry dev. So what does entry dev do? Okay, so that's the one that was doing the root. Yeah, it's interesting that uh, it crashed in this order. Like I would expect it to crash because it doesn't have entry dev, then because it doesn't have root. But here, okay, so everything is squiggly. Unexpected default export of an anonymous function. Is that my rule or what's happening? Development and report using client side. Do not use this model in production. Okay, so yeah, so right, so that was our feed thing, but we also have uh like SSR dev SSR, which is read as well is inspect. I don't think we need to inspect or inspect break, yeah. And I don't think we need all of that stuff in here. We can just do read mode SSR. That seems easier for me. Okay, so now we don't have entry SSR, which I I, I kind of like grew to expect. And so we'll drop this and we start this. Okay, so it's complaining again. So what's the function? Render, I guess. So what's wrong with the root? Yeah, I don't know. It's probably like React and Qwik types are kind of like conflicting, but no, great. Not going to fix that. So let's go back to index. HMR is working. Fine. What else? What do we need? It actually went pretty smoothly. I was I was kind of scared. It did just because I tried to work with Qwik before, and it wasn't really great. So we have also layout. I don't know when like how it's getting used. That's really interesting question. So we have I know like products. does it use layout? Is it like implied that you have a layout, or is it a convention, just like routing conversion? I guess um, let's just go into a bit of docs. So we have a few components, and we have a layout, and yeah, you don't specify that you use layout. I think that's what I kind of like grew to like in Astro, is that you're I guess the thing that I'm trying to solve is like, so which layout I'm using here. In Astro, I can kind of like comment click on the layout and I will get the answer. But here it's just like kind of like Ruby style. It's like, oh no, it's implied that you're using this. It's probably needed for some nested routing and all that stuff, like some kind of like optimization, but I'm not a fan. Yeah, nested layouts. So each route segment, I guess, like part of the route could have its own layout. You can probably ignore layouts for now. Okay, so here's what we have right now. So we should probably commit all of that. So we have entries are root, route, and vite. Okay, and everything is complying with our prettier stuff. Yep. Right. So we're not doing build, and if we would be doing it, we would be doing it SSG. So I'm not I'm not sure how we're going to do that. So so we're going to name it dev and dev SSR commands, or okay. So I guess that's it for now. Yeah. So JSX is like broken now. I think if we like import React from React or something, it will probably go away. But that's not the way that we need to fix it. So probably our TS config should be a bit different. So let's look at what we have here. Yeah, so there's X import source. Yeah, JSX. Interesting. If we go to like fresh, what they do is they have fresh, they have this examples, I guess. Let's, if it wasn't there, what are we thinking of? Maybe it was for QwikCity template. So if we go to, I don't know, React or something. Yeah. So they had just like a fragment. Is it called fragment? I forget what it's called, but you can just like specify this in line for the file instead of for the whole configuration. And this way, if I click on it, it opens it from Qwik. Yeah, so that's cool. You can use that. Oh no, I can't. What's happening? JSX import source cannot be set without also enabling React's automatic JSX transform. Okay, I don't know what that means. So who's complaining? Okay, guys, I will remove the comment. Oh no, I guess I didn't save it. Okay, that's fine. We will be upset that types are conflicting for now, so that that's the end of the story for now. Okay, what else? So we have it running. We can play with routing a bit, but what would Astro do? So first we installed it. Works with client only. Okay, so doing some deep magic, but I think that's the the interesting part is. So we have some HTML. Probably not going to do that, but that's the stuff that we have in our HTML right now. It's kind of like layout, but it's so easy to do that in Astro because it's already like HTML based framework. It's much harder to do this in Qwik, I think. So I'm not going to try that part anyway. So, but the important thing that it does, it imports this app to tsx file, and we are going to get this file. So oh, okay. So let's just check. Yeah, it's the same file, so we don't have to worry about it a lot. So let's look. We don't have to do all of this right away. So let's see what will work. Interesting. So some parts of this should be done in root, I guess, because we have this. Is root from Remix, by the way? It seems something like really Remix like, and I wanna see if I'm thinking the same. Yeah, I mean it does a bit more. Yeah, so I would call it that, like they stole it from Remix, as always. Uh, okay. What else? What else? What are we doing here? They're not doing root stuff yet. The most important part is just like trying to import from React tab, and that's what we want to try. So we want to just console log. Okay. So it blew up. So why did it blew up? So because our app can only work on the browser, so that's why we need all of this, like client only, or in Next.js, I think I was like importing it dynamically or something like that. So I think that's where we're going to go next, is trying to import it dynamically. So it crashed again, which I'm not a fan. This is just like a vite thing. And so we saw promise on server, and interesting. That's really interesting. So even though we haven't used it, Uh, this is really like the I wouldn't expect something like that to happen. Interesting, interesting. I'm like fascinated. This is not the result I was going for. Okay, so it still ran all of that stuff on server, and nothing got to the client. This is so fascinating. So if I do window one, like test, window is not defined on the server. I'm at the edge of my seat. I'm like, what is going on? Okay, so let's start with just running at client side, like in terms of the widget itself. No, it's not really client side. Interesting. Okay, but at least okay. So if we're trying, if we run it just as Vite, we get it. But if we run it as Vite SSR, it's not getting delivered to us. It's getting both of them are getting to the server. This is fascinating. Okay, so now we basically need to find like simpler component that we can try to import without crashing. So uh, storefront components. I mean storefront UI. It's called UI. So analytics, pie charts. Yeah, maybe something like that. It's like it's not depending on anything else. So so here's the trick how I do file names. Um, okay, so let's go back here. So we don't want to import. So we don't want to import the whole app anymore. We want to try doing that the path. Yeah, it doesn't have to. Yeah. So both of them are on the server again. Interesting. Okay, so now we go to like React stuff. Uh, so enter SSR. Do we need to do something for React on SSR? Render to strict qwik-react. Okay. Okay. The everything is the same, but instead of oh yeah, this one is doing the render to stream. Uh, I guess we are not doing that anymore. So it's qwik-react, and we haven't installed it yet. So okay, now it's render to stream and render options. Okay, but root is incompatible, or what's happening? Cannot find module. Okay, so We're usually doing entry SSR. I mean, yeah, let me just copy paste the whole thing just in case if I do something wrong. No, it's not it. Okay, so what else? So inside of the app, I guess this route is not compatible. And okay, can we pass like an empty string or something? Not find module emotion. Yeah, it was complaining about emotion. I don't know what's emotion. Is that like CSS and JS stuff? I'm not happy that this has somehow became a requirement. Yeah, let's try to install it like one by one. Okay, so now we have the server, and it worked, and it returned the empty string. Okay, we're getting somewhere. So what about the other one? Okay. Okay, so let's go back to this one. So now, if I pass root, yeah, it still works. I mean, we should probably write something here, like this is root. Yeah. So all of our routing is happening. All of this is happening. So now the question is, right now I'm returning a component, but it could be returning qwik-ify instead of component. I mean, let's just create a second round, a second route. So it's going to be, I don't know, like RTSX. So, and instead of returning a component, it returns so export what page? This page. I think I need to create page and then export default page. That is it. Yeah, I don't know. So, so let's imagine that all of this is. I mean, okay. Yeah, let's copy all of that at the top. And so we don't need a button, it's going to be like just button. we need material here right now, but need type. So we'll keep all of that stuff and we'll export the page. Okay, so this is still working, but now we go to R, which is this, and it didn't work. So restart. No, it didn't work. Oh, it's probably should be a folder called R, and inside of it there is a file. X. And here the file should be index.js. Then it will work. Okay. We have a button. Still don't know who created this button. And so what's the name? Doesn't match. Okay, I have so many like JSX rules. So I think what we want to do now is import React and do something like a account and what's our count? 0. And what do we have? On click that will increment the count. Okay. Yeah, so it's not working. If I run the client only one, doesn't know how to import that file. Okay. I think the path has changed. Okay, but now our so let's check dev entry. So we render from Qwik. I wonder we should be rendering from qwik-react and the bottoms. Okay, like this. Okay. Okay, so this is a bit more confusing. So we have rendered to string on server. We have qwik-react. Okay. Can I get like a call girlfriend or something like that to help me? Okay. So it almost works server side, but okay. Let's see what we got here so far. So our outlet wouldn't work. Okay. So I think Okay, let's look a bit more examples. Right. Components. Okay, so let's get a, I don't know, like header component or something. Okay, so we want to create a new file in src components, and it's going to be a header, and that header is going to be header ESX, and it's going to be just that. Okay, and this is fine. We don't have styles, so we're not going to do that. But other than that, should be fine. So now in our index route, I wanna have header, and the header is going to be import header from components header. Yeah. So let's go back here. So we have some kind of header. So now the question is, if I go to that header path name and access like routing stuff. Okay. Okay, so now, yeah, we're a bit like this is going a bit slower than it would have gone with some kind of like island architecture frameworks, but I'm not giving up yet. So now let's just write so we have this section, right? So I want to cut this section and I will call it like section. And I will create a file here called section, and I will put that there, and we will create it as a component. So this is going to be our content of this thing. Okay, so something is not working. I just like my preacher is not working, so I don't know what that means. What do you see? Okay, no semicolons. It's always semicolons. Okay, so we have this, which we will call section, and we don't have to export it. We don't have to probably have it as a separate thing. We can invite it. Could not find a declaration for runtime. Yeah, the red quickly lines are not jiving well, but what else can you do? So let's import section from section. That seems like a reasonable thing to do, right? And this stuff didn't work. But does it have to work? Okay, so now we just don't have a section. This is what happened. I mean, okay, so let's try to do React without JSX. How would that work? I can return strings in JSX. In React. Probably like this string. Like it. Okay. So what changed? Uh, okay, so we have section here. Okay, it still does nothing. One could ask, does it does it ever work? Could you make it work? Uh, you have to make it work. There are like other ways to do all of this stuff. So okay, so let's try the other mode as well. Okay, interesting. Yeah, so far qwik-react only works on server. And even that, I don't care if it works in server. It puts me in a curious spot. So what I will do is I want to figure out what part of this I want to keep. Maybe I don't want to keep anything. What if what if that's what I'm getting at? Okay, so I will create a branch. It's going to be idea quick. Oh, it's feature quick. That's bold of me. And I will create a new branch that's going to be idea quick SSR, just because it's only works in SSR. So let's put everything related to that there. I mean, I like my header. It was fine, but I mean, yeah, probably need to commit that so the branch makes sense. Okay, so yeah, so let's call it quick react SSR, but it doesn't do what I was expecting. Okay, so let's go back. Um, let's. I mean, what do we need? Um, yeah, we don't really need anything really. So so let's play with Qwik, just like what I don't know, simple kind of like on-click stuff. So this stuff. So let's go here and let's create a counter. Uh, and that counter would be shown here. That's what we are going for. And it needs store, and we're getting it from Qwik. Okay, so we have a counter. And it's gone. Oh yeah. By the way, it was a video delay when I first clicked it. Interesting. Wonder if it required some time to compile it or something, but yeah, it was cool. So now we have this counter. We can do something on click. So I think what I'm interested in, some kind of like refs, actions, components, events, preventing default behavior. Yeah, sounds good. So prevent default. Okay, that's sneaky. On mount, on cleanup, on ref. Okay. So where do we get ref? Okay, here. So let's create a ref. And let's attach it to, I don't know, like a div here. We can probably put something here. Yeah, all these squiggly lines are not looking cool, but let's. Okay, so we also have client side effects. That's really up my alley. So what the first thing we want to try is we want to console log. Yeah, we want to console log ref here and here, and we will run it. It returns a ref, and it returns undefined on the server. If you run it just client side, yeah, it will do it 3 times. Okay, so now if I click on it, I'm assuming this one is really running inside of the. Actually, no. Interesting. Oh, because it's a reactive one. This is so confusing. Okay. Okay, so this one is render, and this one is effect. So render is really rendering, but the effect is not. But if I use store count in the effect, it also is not rendering. Okay, this is a bit more confusing than I was expecting. I don't actually care, but it's just interesting. Okay, and okay. Okay, this is going wrong in so many directions, so I'm not I'm not even sure what I want to focus on. Okay, let's give up a bit on the reactivity of this, and yeah, I mean, I guess we wanted to test what's the difference. It only runs on render, and it doesn't run on effect. But it runs on effect first time when it's getting mounted, and that's the most important part for me right now. So what we're going to do is we're going to have like a show button. So show our store is going to have show false, and then Uh, and I mean, so so hopefully our effect is going. Uh, I think I'm at my strongest of giving up so far, but okay. So we're going show current equals true, and uh, and if show current is yes or no. Yeah. So show is no, yes, and you'll probably do it like toggle. Show yes, no. Okay, so that's working. Now the problem is that uh, our effects are not following the changes. So we want to do client side effects, and when effect call is executed after component is resumed, method takes when the component is executed. Okay, so it looks more like on mount. So update clock, set interval, right? Uh, so it's not the React use effect. I guess React use effect is just like inside of the render, right? So if I change the value, yeah. So uh, I think that's fine. That actually I kind of like made it more confusing for myself, right? So the problem is that uh, we can't. I mean, am I missing something? Track see reactivity. Okay, so we have use watch, and that could be more what I was expecting. So let's go use watch. I think I wanna I wanna use watch that only runs on the client. So yeah, huh, interesting. It's a callback that tracking. Wow, that's way more opt-in than I would expect. Uh, wow. Uh, I mean, it kind of makes sense for kind of like lower level API in how they're writing it, but like for a user, it's a bit crazy. But who cares about users, right? Okay, so we have what I was going for, and now the question is, what is stopping me from saying inner HTML? Let's say count. Who cares? This is much more confusing than I would have expected to be. Okay, what if this runs, then this runs? It would have been crazy, right? Uh, but we can probably add a class and hopefully, because this one doesn't have a class, it will not override it because you're using like virtual DOM and stuff. Wow. What the hell? Okay, but I can remove that, right? Okay. Oh, it would be cool if that was the issue. Okay. And if I track store count, it'll probably yeah. So and if we do class here, and the class is I don't know, no. Okay, so at least it's not removing it. So now what if I don't have a text in this div? Now maybe oh no, what happened? Oh no, my my noise canceling stopped. Which could mean that I should just give up and so have I can just add noise suppression, which will help a bit, but no, here are all the clicks. Okay. Okay. Okay, I wanna take a break. It's getting too hard. Okay, I'm back. And I don't really have like a better ideas, so we will. I figured out how to turn on noise suppression back, so you don't hear my mouse clicks anymore. Okay, let's get through this. I think I'm not going to be able to do what I was planning for today, but let's keep it for a bit longer. So we have this, and we want to try doing that inner HTML stuff. Yeah. Yeah, this is too much. They're doing their output to the DOM like in the wrong way. And I can't probably fix it. I can try some stuff. So I can try to create like a new div, and will that crash on server? Yeah, it will. So I need to if type of document. Okay, so no longer crashes the server. So now I create this div and I try to do that. And yeah, you can see they're rendering, destroying everything. How could you? Why would you? Okay, so it's possible that if I create a separate component, it will work better. So yeah, something like that. I have div. Okay. So now the crazy part. So we wanna go to like next sibling. How do you call it? Possibly bundle. Yeah, sure, that's fine. Okay, failed to execute a child. This node does not support this method. Okay, so because it's a let's console log it, I guess. Oh, so it's a comment. So I guess it should be next sibling. Okay, so it's a div that has hello, but before it has hello. Okay. Yay. Okay, so here's the method for my method to my madness. Because we are re-rendering this component, it probably once it's this sees this one, it's like, oh, it's somewhere down the line. No one cares about that. Let's not do anything. And that's what lets us to kind of like work on the DOM element itself. Which, yeah, sure, just do this with a bit more. Does not exist in shell node. Why wouldn't it? I mean, yeah. Okay, so this part we only need to do once, and maybe how do I make sure that we only do this once? Maybe I need to have like count or something like that. Has children nodes. Okay, HTML children count. Okay, so it's just like a TypeScript stuff. Child node. So this is an element. You'll probably say that it's HTML div element. Will that help us? Possibly undefined. That's true. So ref element or ref HTML element. So now ref is possibly, I mean, once we get here, it's possibly undefined. Okay, maybe we passed something wrong with the types, but yeah. So does that exist on the parent node? Okay. I mean, okay, not going to fix this. So it's was rendered. So this should be more than 0, and the type of this thing is as parent node. Yeah. If it wasn't rendered, then append shell. So that's the approach. Ah, well, oh, it's basically like a new div every time because we created. Right. So yeah, and now how do we get that div? Uh, so, so so if it was rendered, then we just reuse that div. If it wasn't rendered, we create a new one, and we do this on it. Okay. Well, yeah, probably messed something up, but hello. Okay, so let's just remove hello. Okay, so it was null, and inner HTML doesn't exist. This is so okay. I think I don't want to fix it. So let's do a new one. It's going to be our app, but this is going to be our quick app. So it's going to be a component. It's going to have a show again, and it's going to track that show, and it's going to console log effect, and it's going to return def and the button and show yes no, and that's going to be it. And let's make sure that we have proper amount of brackets and whatnot. Okay, so we have this show, and what this so it's not running on mount, which okay, I'm fine. So what we will do here is we will do that import stuff that we had. Where is it? Okay, it's this one. And it's going to be only running on the client, only if we press the button and stuff like that. Okay, so it imported something. So, I mean, it's not important to return the function. Okay, so this promise is fulfilled. We got some data. Okay. So, this is going to be cool. So what we want to do is to import our app to okay. It's taking longer, and we crashed it. Cool. Okay, so kind of worked. And it kind of crashed. Right, so it couldn't download it on server. My problem is why? Why do we need to download it on server? But okay, I guess you can't get everything. So this is cool. Now this one is a React component. So I can actually go there and I will create a file. This is going to be, I don't know, like render tsx. And it's going to be console log 1, 2, 3 for now. And okay, like everything is so red. And okay, so it's going to be a lot of this. So we don't need server rendering. We need this. Okay, and so for now it's going to be just a string of app. Okay, so go back to routes and import render. Oh, crashed again. Okay, so we can't do that. And that is, oh no, we forgot to. Okay, so this is much more reasonable error that I was initially thinking. Okay, so it's crashing again. So document is not defined. It's trying to SSR it again. So so line 3. Okay, so what if this was it was just a function? Okay, fine. So this function is called render, and now here we have this thing. Okay, so now here we can do await, and we can get a okay. So it actually runs it in server as well. Which is not great, but we can probably do something like that if type of document is not undefined. So it's no longer doing anything here, but it's doing something here, and then just call the render. Okay, so it wasn't able to find the root element, but that's an easy fix. Just return like here, I guess. We'll just create ID root, and hopefully, because we are rendering outside like this component, it's not going to touch this. But yeah, it's just I think it's just like an issue in their web virtual DOM implementation. Okay, so we're so close. So what we want to do now is import like that chart thing. What was it? Fog. Fog by chart. And we wanna render it. Okay, so object are not valid as React gel. I guess we're probably not passing it all the like proper options. Yeah, So yeah, so we need to render something like this, which is it's a bit sad that it can't find like yeah. Okay, so we are in analytics. Okay, so admin features, admin features, uh, admin features analytics components, admin features analytics containers. Okay, so we need to go to containers, and then it's going to be top containers charts. Okay. I don't know, it's complaining, but should be fine. So objects are not valid children. Okay. I think we saw that there before. I mean, can we just print this? Okay. So okay. Uh, so the idea was okay, so we want to have a div that has 1, 2, 3 inside of it. Can't do that. Right. So what possibly is happening is it's not it's like it's not compiling it with React. Yeah. So this one is a bit different. Or is it? No, it's not. Yeah. So it's possible that this component is not compiled with React, and thus it can't React can't render it. So it can render strings, right? So if we do this, the string is getting rendered. So can we use React without JSX? Right. Something like this. So if this component returns something like this, maybe that will work. Nope. Right. So and if you do it here, it will create like two divs. Yeah, but the rest of the app is not compiled with the React. Yeah. So we tried we tried React. How is it called again? No, it's not it. Packages. Yeah, we need packages. qwik-react. Yeah. And the function is called qwik-ify. Right. So we tried this package and it wasn't working. We tried calling React manually, but vite is not compiling React properly, which probably means that if we add a plugin, let's do it super quick. I need, well, plugin. Yeah. So that could be the problem, and that could be the same problem with the other stuff, right? When we were doing the package. Okay, so React here. We need to install it, right? Yeah, and this is going pretty quick. But if we compare it to React scripts, which is not growing, yeah, it's actually like it's getting there. That's cool. Okay, so let's try that. And then we can switch to like other branch and check. But reference identifies, declare to the root, blah, blah, blah. Okay, so now the qwik is not working. So maybe if we put it down, somewhere down, super down, as down as possible. Okay, this is a bit more promising. So, okay. Plugin React can't detect preamble. Something is wrong. So let's go back to here. Let's maybe do this here. React can detect preamble. Okay. So what file is that actually? Chat wrapper. Oh, I guess if I go, like I need to add it here. Then I need to go to that one here. Maybe here. Yeah, I mean, you get the idea. We tried, it didn't work, and we're going to give up. Let's commit everything that we have, including this and this. Didn't work with react rendering. So let's quickly switch back to that one. And oh, it should be quickly. We need to add packages as well. Okay, so return it here. We add it here. We restart it, I guess. You never know when you need to restart stuff or not. Okay. Okay, so right, and we need to to switch back to the client one, right? And it doesn't render anything. So we tried, but we didn't get far. How do I say it? I think I'm too tired to do like a proper rant about Qwik, but I mean the version 0.0 something says it all. The Qwik idea is really interesting. It's extremely new. Every time I try to do this, it's like it breaks in some interesting way. So I think when Mishko does his introduce, he's selling much more already and like thought out product that it really is. I actually remember Qwik when it was like just storing the state in HTML and all that stuff, and Mishko was sure that it's better and quicker than everything else. So I think he's a bit overhyping it, and like over promising and under delivering, right? Which is like the the thing that you shouldn't be doing. And yeah, so I've watched like I know like 3 videos this week, his interviews, and I don't completely agree with like how he sells it. So I think like just in terms of like the ideas, not the not the implementation, but ideas. Ideas of resumability. The way how I put it on Twitter is like Qwik is first server-side rendering framework. So basically, like I don't know where I want to draw this, but there's like a server rendering, server side rendering, and server side pre-rendering. So why do I say that there is a difference? So server-side rendering is like just the term that everyone is using as opposed to server static site generation. But if you think about it, there is a server rendering. So there is PHP, Python, and like Ruby and all of that stuff that just returns your HTML, and that's all the rendering that you need. It's like you had some data, you turned it into HTML. And there is server-side pre-rendering. So you have your app that only works in a browser. It basically it does nothing on the server except for like getting your data, right? And it renders that client side. So you have and this is like classic SPA formula. So if you don't do pre-rendering, you get just classic like create React app SPA, where your index HTML it's like it has like I don't know, like 1 kilobyte. It just has like import links. It doesn't do anything. But what we started doing at some point, we started to do a bit of server-side pre-rendering. So some people would just do like meta tags when you're like doing your Twitter or like Facebook or whatnot, like previews. Some people did more for like SEO reasons, so we would add a title, we would like add some bit of like tags or like some bit of content that is like easy to render. But at some point, some bright person said, why don't we do everything isomorphic so that server returns exactly the same HTML as client would during rendering? And that idea didn't seem reasonable to me when I first heard about it. It's like, but why? You're doing like so much extra work and it's going to be like slower, harder, and so on. So so I think it's like, it's not a SPA, but I mean, we don't have like a better term, but let's call it like Next.js kind of like formula, right? And for me, it seemed reasonable, and when pre-rendering was happening as a separate service. So we would have like a Puppeteer or something, I forgot what we were using, but it would go like crawl a bit of pages. It didn't care too much that it like matched completely on all of that stuff. You would maybe add something, maybe you would remove something. It was fine. Then the idea of server-side pre-rendering became that it has to be like isomorphic, and we got like Next.js, which, okay. And like server-side rendering, I guess we will call it like Rails, right? So if you have any JavaScript, you don't render it. You just like, you're putting it in a script tag, or you're just like linking it as an asset. You don't render your client code. Why would you? What's the point? And as long as like server-side pre-rendering worked in that kind of like idea of like, render one stuff on the server, render other stuff from the client, it kind of like made sense for me. But I think server-side rendering is like a new idea, and it comes, it's kind of like, it's closer to server rendering than client rendering, and that's why like the line that is drawn here is like MPA versus SPA, right? Because it's like, it depends on like how you do routing and navigation, all that stuff. So so here we're saying, okay, why don't we render our pages on server, but we don't throw away all the state that we got during rendering. We will pass it somehow to the client, and like, again, preferably you don't want to do client-side rendering after that point. And the easiest to understand kind of like ideology here is Astro with so if you have Astro and every component that you have is client only, it's actually exactly like Rails or PHP, all of that stuff. It's rendering bits that you want to get rendered on the server, and it just sends assets to do client rendering. Where it's what is getting where it's getting trickier is that you can do like isomorphic rendering, and imagine that you have like at root you are rendering like React app that has imagine that you have Astro component that has no data in it. It just passes like control, I guess, to like Next.js or Remix. Basically, like Astro does nothing. It just renders next. You will get classic like Next.js app. It will render client side, it will pre-render isomorphically and all that stuff. And that's that's why Astro is so interesting, because it can move across this kind of lines. But the separation between what is getting done on the server and what is getting done on the client is really clear. And that's why I think Qwik is kind of cool, that it tries to do, while doing really similar stuff, it tries to do different separation. Instead of separating or like server-side code and islands, it's trying to, so maybe like separation is not tree based in terms of like DOM objects or something, but it's kind of like time based. It's like we do this when we are rendering on the server, and we do this when we are rendering on the client. It's not just we do this because it's like in this folder, or we do this because it's in this folder. So it's like it's a new dimension. Like no one tried this before. So that's why I think it's first server-side rendering framework, because all the frameworks before it were either doing pre-rendering in different cases, but anyway, or they were doing server-side rendering and kind of like client side. Yeah, at that point, client wasn't rendering as much. It was just like changing class names and stuff. So it didn't make any sense to call it rendering. So yeah, it's probably like too small to to see it on the stream. But I think, yeah, the important part is that Qwik invented this thing. I mean, maybe they didn't invent, because like Marco.js was doing something really similar, but they invented all the like language to talk about it. And maybe it will go far. I think where I completely kind of disagree with the message that Mishko is selling is that no one will do this. And I think a lot of people will do this. It's like I can imagine similarly how like Astro is doing it with like coarse grain islands. I somehow imagine there is like a Astro kind of like shaped solution for resumability that just works on much more coarser grain. So it's like closer to how lazy loaded routes work or something, like in SPAs or Next.js. So I don't know if we have like idea how that will look, like coarser grain Qwik, but I think there is a way. And so I think one other dimension is so I'm doing this on the memory, so it could be it could be wrong, but I would say that so Qwik features are like resumability. Everything is. I need to turn off my like spell checking. So it does resumability, it does lazy loading, and it does async rendering. I think that's how we're going to call it. And so async rendering, it just means that our app is like when you load the page and it's just HTML, you can click on like on different parts and it will try to load the code and like do the updates kind of like spread out over the time. And I think not a lot of frameworks go for that because it's just more crazy looking. It's like it's like the experience is a bit strange, and like no one kind of like accepted that into their life yet. So, and I think in a sense it's like it will probably never happen like outside of Qwik. So the lazy loading is also like really interesting part, is that your component could be split into like, I don't know, like 10 lazy loaded how do they call it? I forgot, but I think they have like the name for it. But your render function of the component is like one chunk, and your on click is like the other chunk, and your event that is happening on like some DOM event is like third one. So it's like it's much more fine-grained lazy loading. And I think this is also kind of like similar to async rendering. No one is probably too used to that, and I don't know if that's going to be like the the interaction that everyone is used to. And so now we have resumability, which is the fact that framework reuses the work that was done on the server. And like when working on a client, it reuses the work that was done on the server. And I think that one is really interesting one. And I wonder why like more people haven't tried that. And I think that's what is like uniquely Qwik. And I think how do I say it? If Qwik was a library that just allowed you to write resumable frameworks, I think, and I think like Mishko said that that's what was like his original idea, is to try that. And I think that one would have had some success. It's like if I was able to write my maybe I'm actually like, I think his original idea was to do like lazy loading as a library, right? He tried to do like do all of that like closure and like hoisting and all of that stuff as a library, but it wasn't working with React. I forgot. I mean, okay, let me try to get to the point. Right. So in terms of resumability, I had like a chat with him on Twitter about like resumability. I was saying like, yeah, but if I have a jQuery application just like written in jQuery, isn't that resumable just like by by the definition that I didn't have to do anything on the server? So if I'm resuming my state if I'm resuming my state and I didn't do any work on the server, that means that it's resumable. And I don't remember like what exactly he said, but the idea was like, no, you're not right. It's not going to work like that. And And then I was just talking about like with jQuery stuff. I just did like lazy loading and like asynchronous like events. So I was I was doing something that is like technically resumable, but not like philosophically resumable. So like I think the interesting part is like philosophical resumability is where you have where you're like not redoing something the server already did. And I think the approach that they have is like all the like that hosting and like splitting into chunks and stuff. This might be like might be not what exactly is needed. Maybe there is different way, and that's why tools that do frameworks that do job like differently in the server. So they're regional, like in Ruby, right? And on the client where it's JavaScript. That's where I'm kind of like looking at right now and thinking if there is like does it have to be JavaScript? I think that's the question. What if we can create some kind of serialization of the state that is going to be like so universal that you can create it with like other apps and other languages. And yeah, that reminds me of all of that HTMX or the one that I did before of like Nitro or like Nitrogen project, where all the work is done on the server. So it's also kind of like becomes resumable because you don't have to, the client doesn't do anything. So it's like, yes, you're not you are not rendering everything twice if the only place where it gets rendered is the server. And yeah, so it's like it's interesting that this resumability stuff is this so resumability is the, so I think how so resumable just means that it's not replayable. It's like if it's replayable, it's not resumable. So, and it's replayable when you have to do the same work twice. So there are two polar opposites approaches. It's like if you do everything on a server, we are not replayable because we only did we did that once on the server. And if we didn't do anything on the server, we're just a client-side app, we're just SPA, we are also not replayable. It's the niche that Next.js invented when they tried to do isomorphic pre-rendering. That's where that's when everything gone wrong. And that's the problem that needs to have resumable solutions. But what if there is like, I don't know, some other way of achieving that? Anyway, I did the rant. I thought that I wouldn't have a strength to do it. I did it. But yeah. So OBS 28 looks cool. Broke my plugin, unfortunately, and so I wasn't streaming on Twitch. And yeah, I guess that's it.